We left off with basketball, guys, kind of teasing up a little bit. The Golden State Warriors, over 40 years since they won a last championship. They did it with Steph Curry, Andre Iguodala, a guy who was originally off the bench the entire season, a former starter, came in and helped the team win. But you look at the play of the Warriors as a whole. They were the definition of a team. And it's always nice to see a team win. But don't you feel that if LeBron had some help, that this series would have been different?
Yeah, I think you talk about most valuable one individual player. LeBron James was unbelievable. If he had Kyrie Irving, if he had Kevin Love, you never know what. But at the same time, if he had help, he's not scoring 43 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists. So he had to play a little bit different game, and he pushed that series to 6 games by himself. That was one of the greatest sporting performances ever.
Well, I've said over the last 2 weeks, we talked about this, that Golden State's going to win because they have the team. One guy's can't win. Like, I'm sorry, I don't care what sport it is. One guy's never going to win in a team sport. And it happened. Now, I looked bad last week when I said that LeBron can't carry the team, and then he goes out and carries the team to a victory and almost caused the series. But it's true. Like, especially that you love seeing teams like that where it's a team effort. Everybody, yes, they have some names. It's great, but it's not one guy going out there and winning it just for them. It's guys every night winning it.
LeBron called himself the best player in the game. That's, a self-proclaiming statement, but you could honestly look at his resume and say, you know what, he's right. But you look at his record in the NBA Finals. He's been to 6 NBA Finals, has won 2, lost 4. Is his legacy, if you will, legacy being the word of the show, I guess, is his legacy tarnished because of his record in the Finals?
Yeah, maybe. Like, when he won the Finals, he won with stacked teams, so I don't know how you're going to put that up against some other guys who maybe have, like, say, Kobe, but even Kobe's won it with a great team.
Kobe's had it. Like, you look at Magic, Michael Jordan had Pippen, like that sort of thing. So.
Yeah. So everyone's had, like, role players that have helped them, but I'd still say, I don't think anyone will say he's not the best player in the game, but it's definitely tarnishing his reputation when you can't win when you have to. But it also shows you need extra players. You can't win it on yourself.
Yeah, I would say to some degree, but I mean, I would definitely say that before he went to Miami and that last series in Cleveland when he was in the playoffs and he basically gave up on his team, and that was a big red flag. But all of a sudden this year, he came back, he wanted to build that team in Cleveland. He was more focused than ever on building a team and not being the star. He ended up having to be the star just by no other options, and he almost did it himself. Nobody expected him to even push it to 5 games. He himself pushed it to 6. So I don't think you can judge his ability to win on what he did this past couple of weeks.
If you had a .210 batting average, you'd be considered one of the worst in baseball. Laughable, really. But if you're a Kansas City Royal, you'd be one player leading the All-Star ballot. It's 8 players from the Kansas City Royals, and some are very suspect when you look at some of the names on that list, are leading in 8 of the 9 categories. So with that said, guys, you look at the votes being piled on for the Royals. Is there an issue with balloting in Major League Baseball, letting the fans vote for All-Stars?
I think it depends what they're looking for. I think when you put in fan voting, you want it to be a fan engagement. It's a marketing strategy, right? We're talking about it. Don Cherry went on Hockey Night in Canada on Saturday night, told fans to start voting. It's a story right now. We're a few weeks in advance of an All-Star game, which is generally a pretty boring game. And we're talking about it. So in terms of marketing, business, they're doing well. But I mean, if you wanted to be the best players on the field starting, 9 Kansas City Royals are not the best players. So it depends what you want it to be.
Yeah, and then I don't know why we still have fan voting nowadays. Like every other sport has messed up fan voting, and it's been just laughable when you see these crazy players making teams. Like almost in the NHL, we have guys who maybe just get like 4 games who have like 2 points and are, just out of getting a starting role in the NHL over guys like Crosby, Ovechkin, and Stamkos. I think they should just almost erase this entire thing and put people in who are actually the best players of the position. Because if I'm going to that All-Star game and I'm watching it, I want to see the best player, especially in baseball. Baseball's a one-on-one game. You want to see the best players going against the best players. That's what I want to see. Like, I want to see the best hitter, who's the best third baseman, playing against the best pitcher, not because he's a Royal, because he's the best pitcher and the best third baseman and the best fielder. That's what I want to see at an All-Star game, especially in baseball.
Okay, Andrew, quickly, I'm going to start off with you for this one. Phil Mickelson going to the U.S. Open. Always been a bridesmaid, never really a bride. 6 times he's finished up as a runner-up for this competition, which gets set to go tomorrow. So if you look at everything in the grand scheme of things, can he finally win the U.S. Open and then become that 6th person to win a career Grand Slam? Is that what's going to happen come Sunday?
If he can stay, we love saying the word consistent, but if he can stay consistent in the final round, that's where he has to get a lead, I think. He can't play from behind, has to get a lead and then just play a smooth, solid round and make everybody else chase him. If he can do that, he can be fine. If he's playing from behind, he's going to fall apart. I think he'll fall apart again because he has that behind him that I'm always a runner-up, I'm never the winner. So he needs to be the winner through day 1, 2, and 3, not worrying about on day 4.
Yeah, I think he finished his tournament last weekend with a 65. He was lights out at the end of that St. Jude's Classic. It's a new course in the Pacific Northwest. They're saying it's very challenging. Hasn't been played by these PGA guys. And reading about Phil, he's been on that course for months in preparation. Some guys might show up a week in advance trying to learn the course and tune in their swing. Phil knows the course. He knows what he wants to do with it. He's going to be there this week just kind of preparing his swing, his technique. I'm not going to say he's going to win. There's a lot of young golfers out now that are great. But I think he's got as good of a chance as ever to win this weekend as any U.S. Open.
All right, guys, we're going to take another commercial break. When we return, we have gloves are off. Over under. There we go. Over under coming up next.